For the World Economic Forum, African leaders have restated the need for job creation for sustainable growth to be achieved on the continent. They shared their views during one of the plenary sessions at the ongoing World Economic Forum on Africa. Our correspondent Bolaji Akinwale reports.
At the same time,
jobs and job creation. That's what this session is all about.
Not just in the future.
From President Goodluck Jonathan to Rwanda's President Paul Kagame, the thought process of African leaders to make life worth living for their people was well echoed. What areas of interest do these leaders have in mind, and how do they intend to make job creation a reality?
We must encourage the private sector to invest in the real sector. So what we are doing as a government is to create that environment where the private sector will see that there are gains to be made. And when you create the environment where the private sector notices that if they invest in this sector or in this area, they will make returns. Definitely, you'll get investors from within the country and outside the country.
To grow at the expense of others or the others lose. I think we are talking about the principles of equity, equality, and how job creation is actually being achieved, and this means wealth. How does an ordinary person get involved, participate in these activities that also increase what they get as an income? This is what we are talking about.
The needed change may only be realized when Africans imbibe a sound entrepreneurial culture.
Some of us here in Africa will rather keep the money abroad, not invest in Africa. And by doing that, you are not creating confidence. You have to invest your own money as an African to create confidence for the foreigners to bring in their money. Unless you do that, it's not just going to happen. I mean, the size of company that we're in today, even 5 years or 7 years away, we never ever expected to be this big, but the opportunities are there.
And owing to the opportunities for businesses to grow on the continent, there is a call to pay back through effective tax compliance.
We are told that we have been, as a continent, a net long-term provider of resources of money to other continents. The flow, 1.4 trillion in the last 30 years, flowing out of this continent. What are we doing? What are our governments doing to stop tax dodging, to stop this hemorrhage of resources so that we put it back in our people? That is the question.
There is no doubt that Africa is rising, but the concern is the extent to which it will rise, and this can only be determined by what the leaders take back home to execute at the end of this summit. Bolaji Akinwale for Channels Television News.